Welcome to Right Now, your daily writing workout for the next 2 weeks. I'm starting these back up again because I have been commissioned to write a new play for High Tide, which I'm really excited about. I can't say too much about it, but they have inspired a lot of the content for the session today. We're going to do a lot of writing. Thank you for joining me. Every day we're going to have a similar structure, but different content and different themes. Today, our theme is navigating narrators. I'm thinking a lot about narrators. How do we use them? Who's telling a story? Why are they telling a story? How does that work? I've been thinking a lot about this because I've been doing a lot of historical research recently. And, you think about, okay, who's telling this story and why? From what perspective are they telling it? So I'm really obsessed with that at the moment, and that's the theme for today. So every day we're just going to write for half an hour. I'd encourage you to just write anything and everything. Majd, yes. Sadie, yes. Lovely to see some amazing people in the room today. Let me not lose my track. Please just write. As Bogdan Piasecki says, shit your way to greatness. If you're being shit at something, it's usually a sign that you're learning something new. So props to you if you're writing some shit. So we're going to start by me reading a prompt poem inspired by the theme. I post that in my feed about an hour before if you want some time looking at it prior. Didn't do that today because I made this decision relatively spontaneously. But keep an eye out tomorrow. I'll do that prior if you're like me and you're dyslexic and you like to have a bit of time for something beforehand. Sorry, I didn't give you that today. So I'm going to read a poem. Then we're going to do, Caius, please stay and write with me. We're going to do a 3-minute free write in response to that. I'll give you another extra prompt with that as well. Then we're going to do 10 back-to-back speed poems together. I know. Only 30 minutes, but we're going to get it done. Going to take some breaths together. I need to take some, can feel myself rising up. And then I'll give you some editing homework that you can choose to do or not do. Hopefully that sounds good. Today, I've got a poem from Terence Hayes. If you don't know Terence Hayes, Google him. He's fantastic. It's actually not from this book, but that's just a picture of his face, just in case you wondered. And because I was thinking about, I'm getting up on my computer today, I try and always, the poems I show you, more and more, I'm trying to make sure they're ones that are existingly online so that it's already in the public domain. Yes, Caius, cannot wait to see what you write. So this is a poem called The Same City by Terence Hayes. And feel free to just listen. But if you want, try and actively think about the way the voice of the narrator is being used in this. And please bear with my dyslexicness. You know me, I like to put myself out there. Shit your way to greatness. You've got to get shit before you can get good, innit? So this is The Same City by Terence Hayes. The rain falling on a night in mid-December. I pull to my father's engine, wondering how long I'll remember this. His car is dead. He connects jumper cables to his battery, then to mine, without looking in at me and the child. Water beads on the windshield, the road sign, his thin blue coat. I'd get out, prove I can stand with him in the cold, but he told me to stay with the infant. I wrap her in the blanket, staring for what seems like a long time into her open, toothless mouth, and wish she was mine. I feed her an orange. Softened first. Sorry, I've lost my dyslexicness. I feed her an orange, softened first in my mouth, chewed gently until the juice runs down my fingers as I squeeze it into hers. What could any of this matter to another man passing on his way to his family? His radio deafening the sound of water and breathing along all the roads bound to his. But to rescue a soul is as close as anyone comes to God. Think of Noah lifting a small blackbird from its nest. Think of Joseph raising a son that wasn't his. Let me begin again. I want to be holy. In rain, I pull to my father's car with my girlfriend's infant. She was 8 weeks pregnant when we met, but we'd make love. We'd make love below stars and shingles while her baby kicked between us. Perhaps a man whose young child bears his face, whose wife waits as he drives home through rain and darkness. Perhaps that man would call me a fool. So what? There is one thing I will remember all my life. It is as small and holy as the mouth of an infant. It is speechless. When his car would not stir, my father climbed in beside us, took the orange from my hand, took the baby in his arms. In 1974, this man met my mother. For the first time, I cried or slept in the same city that holds us tonight. If ever you tell my story, say that's the year I was born. So that was The Same City by Terence Hayes. If you've just jumped in and you only caught some of that, don't worry. Just get writing with us. We're going to start with a 3-minute free write. A free write is just writing freely. The only rule is try not to think too hard and your hand should hurt by the end. Don't stop. If you feel like you're like, I don't know what to write, just write. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. Start saying things that you can see. Just keep going. I want you to surprise yourself. I want you to wander into parts of yourself that you've not been to before. Yeah. I want you to think. I want you to use a narrative voice if you can. Explore with that. If you get stuck, why not play with this phrase of "let me begin again"? What I'm really obsessed with in that Terence Hayes poem is how we switch narrative. Like, is it a story about his dad? Is it a story about him? Is it a story about the child? We kind of shift. At one point you think the narrator is the person, you think the person narrating is the person for whom this happened to, but then it becomes about his father. So it's this switching. Actually, could you jump from one perspective narrating to another in the middle of this free write? Have a play. If you're like, Deborah, don't know what you're talking about, this is all too much, just write freely for 3 minutes. Start warming yourself up. Maybe play with the phrase, "let me begin again," if you get stuck. While I set up my timer, let me know if you have any questions. The poem was called, oh yeah, you can use the title from the poem if you want, if that helps you. It was called The Same City by Terence Hayes. Just make sure you credit Terence if you use it. What was I going to say? I type really fast, so if that's annoying, just turn me down. But some people say they like it. I'm going to get going because I think there's a bit of a lag, but if there are any questions, I'll speak. So, 3 minutes, free writing, play around with the narration. Yeah? Let's go. 13 seconds left. I need to keep writing. Okay, let's go, let's stop. Danny. Okay, some new people with us, that's totally cool if you didn't get that writing exercise down. I'm a bit rusty, that was actually hard and felt like a long time. So if you felt the same, don't worry, it's very, very good to have you here. Okay, we don't have much time. So next we're gonna go to speed writing. We're gonna do 10 poems, 10 pieces of writing. Could be a bit of poetry, could be a bit of song, could be a bit of dialogue, could it be a scene description. It can be any type of writing that you want. The only rules are you have 1 minute to do it. It has to be 6 lines, at least 6 lines. If you want to do more, cool, but it has to be 6 lines. And I will give you your title. Yeah, I'll say that again. So you've got 1 minute for each piece of something. And if you're writing towards a project, just go with that. This is all going towards your project. Maybe you've got a scene you're editing and you know it needs new content. Go for that. Cool. Or it can be completely fresh, new content. Surprise yourself. But you've got 1 minute and I'll give you your title. You've got to write 6 lines. This is an exercise I have adapted from an amazing poet called Roger Robinson. If you don't know him, go check him out. He's an amazing writer and educator. So a bonus exercise, if you want to take it, with this exploration of narration, is to link each of the 6-line thingy-majigs together into one longer 60-line piece using a narrator, maybe even an unreliable narrator. So someone that's telling a story, but you can't trust them to tell you the truth. Okay? Again, if you're like, Deborah, don't know what you're talking about with this unreliable narrator, Jazz. Cool. Just do your 6 lines with the title. If you've got any questions, now's your chance. If you've just jumped in the chat, pick up your writing utensils and get writing. You can still write 10 pieces of something today. Let me get my timer set up. So I'll literally say the title. Well, go on. Then I want you to write your 6 lines. Then I'll say the next title, then you'll write 6 lines. Say the next title, write 6 lines, yeah? Yes, Eve. I'll take a little sip of water so that if you want to ask me a question, you can. Shall we go? Shall we do this? Yeah? Okay. 6 lines of, it could be a poem, could be a song, could be a bit of a novel, could be a bit of a project you're already working towards. It's really up to you. When I do it, I see them as tiny little poems, just because I like thinking in the whole. But it's really up to you. You can link them all together and make one longer song, piece, poem, whatever. You're the boss, but you have to write 6 lines. Shit your way to greatness. If it's hard, push through that feeling, yeah? That's the sensation of learning to reach into new parts of your brain that aren't familiar, to write new bits of writing content. So I really want to push you to do that. If it feels uncomfortable, I want you to lean into that. Disruption is opportunity. The feeling of struggle, neurologically speaking, is inherently connected to learning. So lean into that. Don't give yourself the option to write 6 lines. I don't care if it's just one word 6 times. You have to do it, yeah? Let's go. Your first title is Youngest Child But One. Youngest Child But One. Let's go. That one got weird, but weird is good. Weird is good. If you've just jumped in, pick up a pen and start writing. I'm going to give you your title, then you've got 1 minute to write 6 lines of something. Your next title is The Face of Childhood. The Face of Childhood is your next title. You've got 1 minute starting now. Okay, next one. Simplicity and Nature. Your next title is Simplicity and Nature. You've got 1 minute starting now. Okay, keep going. If your hands are hurting, keep going. Your next one is Roadman English. Roadman English is your next title. If you've just jumped in, just start writing. You've got 1 minute to write a 6-line something with the title Roadman English. Let's go. That made no sense, but that's good. Shit your way to greatness. We are nearly halfway. Your next title is Come in the Evening. Come in the Evening is your next title. You've got 1 minute to write 6 lines of something with the title Come in the Evening. Let's go. Definitely warming up, man. The next title is Change. Change is your next title. You have 1 minute. If you just jumped in, you can still write 5 poems or pieces of something. You've got 1 minute to write 6 lines with the title Change. Let's go. Okay, 4 more. Lean into the weirdness, lead into the discomfort. Let's keep it moving. Your next title is Horseplay. Horseplay. If you don't know what it means, make it up. That's part of the joy. Horseplay, you got 1 minute to write 6 lines of something with the title Horseplay. Let's go. Okay, next one. 3 more. You got this. Keep moving. Fearless Fatima, as in the name Fatima. Fearless Fatima is your next title. You've got 1 minute to write 6 lines of something with the title Fearless Fatima. Let's go. Okay, 2 more. The labouring class. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of historical research. You might have noticed that some of these phrases are coming from that. The labouring class, as in class, as in a classroom, or a class like working class. The labouring class is your penultimate title. You've got 1 minute. Let's go. Okay, last one. Bread and cheese. Bread and cheese is your last 1 minute something. You've got 1 minute to write 6 lines with the title Bread and Cheese. Let's go. Okay, time is up. You just wrote 11 somethings. If you stack it with me today. Before we finish with some breaths together, firstly, well done. I found that really, really difficult. It's definitely, I always say I write like it's a gym, but I've actually not written like this in a while, and it definitely feels rusty, and this is something I've been doing on and off for over a decade now. So if you're new and you even got 1 or 2 down, well done. Come back tomorrow. I'm going to be here for the next 2 weeks, same time, same place. I'm going to give you some editing homework that you can take down. I will post this on my feed if you've missed anything and want to go back or anything like that. The editing homework I want to give you, just focusing on this idea of narration, is firstly, read through what you wrote today. Ideally, read it to someone else. Ask them to tell you what was good, and that's it, because you wrote it in a very short period of time, and sometimes you'll be really judgmental to yourself, and it's hard to see what's good. So maybe read it to someone else, get them to tell you what their favourite bit was, work on that bit, and work on it with different narrators. Try 3 versions with a different narrator each time. Maybe if it's a situation, choose a different person from the scene or the situation, and see how that changes the perspective or the mood of the whole thing. You know, and if you just choose 6 lines or something, you can really play around with that, right? And see what comes of it. Thank you so much for joining us. I feel like I've been holding my breath this whole time. So let's take 4 breaths together. We used to do box breaths, but I've been trying a different type of breath recently that I've been really enjoying. So we're going to go inhaling for 4 through our nose, exhaling for 8 through our mouths. If you can, sit with your feet on the floor. Try and really connect with your spine and breathe into your diaphragm, so the bottom of your stomach. Haven't done this a while, still feel like a dickhead when I do it, but this is a really nice way I find to finish things up. So we're going to go in for 4, out for 8. In, out. In, out. One more, in, out. I just find it's nice to ground after all that frantic writing. Thank you so much, everyone that enjoyed this. Oh, I missed this too. Thank you, Caius. Thank you, Eve. Yeah, it's been really nice having this space with you. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'll be here for the next 2 weeks. A few people have been messaging me recently, voice notes and stuff, just different things that they're thinking about, problems that they're having with writing always feel free to voice note me. I have very little reading capacity at the moment because I'm working on so many different projects. So I can't really read very much. But if you want to just drop me a voice note and say, oh, Deborah, I'm struggling with this part of writing or that part of editing, I'll try and weave it in to these sessions over the next 2 weeks. It's great that I'm so busy writing, but I really miss mentoring. I really miss teaching. So I try my best to kind of slot that into this content. And thank you so much for joining me, because this helps me write as well. I'll shut up now. And I'll see you tomorrow. And I've run over by 2 minutes, which I always do. So get used to that. And yeah, see you same place, same time tomorrow.